Welcome back to Midnight Movie Club and my review of Love, Death, Robots Volume 2. The Netflix original anthology series of all these animated, crazy sci-fi, horror, drama, comedy worlds is back. And is it back with a vengeance, or is it a wet fart? Sadly, Love, Death, Robots Volume 2 falls kinda somewhere in the middle there. It's not quite a wet fart, but it is a bit of a whimper. I found it to be very underwhelming after such an insane, amazing Season 1. We've waited 2 years for Volume 2 and we only get 8 episodes, but in those 8 episodes they are a little bit on the longer side, most of them clocking in at about 15 minutes, I believe one of them's even 18, so that is pretty long for a Love, Death, Robots episode. They're usually very short, very sweet, very to the point, but here they didn't feel like they had to be dragged out that long. We get 2 episodes that are both about someone being locked in one location with a killer robot, and really when I look at this series I'm like, come on, you can do better than that. And one of the episodes given it is very good. It's about a self-help robot that's helping around the house that, you know, activates its purge mode and goes full killer robot on this woman and her dog, and it was quite a cool episode. It had some funny little dark comedy parts in it here or there, some creative things like it's trying to kill them but at the same time it's still trying to fold towels. I really liked that. But the other one was the finale with Michael B. Jordan, who was in it. And even Michael B. Jordan couldn't save it. It was literally just someone trapped in one room with a killer robot. And I was like, really? Again, guys, you know, this series is so creative. It's so out there. It's got so much potential for all these crazy, wacky things. And you landed on someone being trapped with a killer robot again? I just expected more. In saying this, we do, however, get a couple of really good episodes in here. Pop Squad was the best by far, in my opinion anyway, and I also liked Snow in the Desert as well, which kind of focused on all these bounty hunters converging on this one guy because he's got something that basically everyone in the universe would want. And once again, the worlds look beautiful and we get a decent variety of animation styles in here and genres. Not as much as Season 1 though. With those 8 episodes, a lot of them do feel similar thematically and in tone. There's not as many crazy out there wacky funny stories. There's no yogurt taking over the world or anything like that. They're all very like kind of cynical and, you know, just a little bit downbeat, apart from one of them which is set around Christmas. I really liked that one, and I really liked the question it posed about, you know, at the end of it, what would have happened if we were bad. I would have liked to have seen what would have happened if someone was bad. This season, just every story kind of felt like a setup rather than a small cohesive story within its own right, and a couple of the stories were just useless. The Drowned Giant, I mean, it was cool and it posed some nice questions, but I was just sitting there thinking like, what was really the point in that episode? And in a series where, you know, we got so much in Season 1, so when you did get a throwaway episode, you could kind of just throw it away easily and go right on to the next one, doesn't really matter. But here, when you've only got 8, every episode is so damn important, and when one doesn't hit the mark, it kind of brings down the whole season, at least in my opinion anyway. I did hear that, you know, there is 16 episodes that were made up, but they wanted to keep people's, you know, retention time. They wanted to keep people's attention for longer and have them really focused in on these stories and dialed in. So they split it into 2 seasons, and we're going to get a Season 3 next year that's also going to be 8 episodes. Honestly, I think it hurt it. I don't mind waiting longer if it means we get more. I really do feel like Love, Death, Robots is this sort of thing where, you know, it should just be in your face, bombastic, totally wild and out there, and just so many different things being thrown at you. Every episode you don't know what's coming next. But here, it really felt like you kind of had a sense of what was coming, as there wasn't as much of that crazy variety. In saying this, we do get episodes like Ice, which I thought like looked the best out of all of the episodes in season 2. It looked like it had just been ripped straight from the pages of like a comic book or a Gorillaz music video. It was awesome. Really loved the animation in that one, the 2D animation. But sadly, the story in that one was just kind of pointless. It was just a bunch of kids hanging out and doing some weird stuff together on a weird planet somewhere. And, you know, they try to force a little bit of conflict between the brothers because one of them was modded and one of them wasn't, but it never really expanded on that, and it was kind of useless. And yeah, it was sad, man, because it definitely looked the best out of them. But I do want to talk about Pop Squad because it follows, you know, this squad of cops who are basically around to kill children to keep the population down. And if you do want to give up your normal life, you can be immortal and live forever. It just means that you can't have kids. You have to give up that right. So everyone who still wants to keep having kids kind of lives and slums it down on you know, the pavements, and everyone who's immortal is living up in the skies. And you know, every time a kid is born, they'll go down, hunt them down, and basically kill them, you know, discard them. I think if you wanted to have a kid, you'd need to kill yourself so that they could take your place in the world, because we do hear someone saying, you know, let her take my place, take me instead. And I thought that was a very, very interesting concept, definitely the most interesting concept of the whole season. And this was one of these episodes where I was disappointed when it ended because I wanted so much more, and I was like, holy shit, this could be a whole anime and it would be amazing. And I had that with about 4 or 5 episodes back in season 1, with the likes of Sonny's Edge, what was the other one? Beyond the Aquila Rift, the one with the werewolves in Afghanistan, and there was a couple more in there. The episode 3 from season 1, the one with the Spider-Man Beyond Into the Spider-Verse animation sort of style. Was it The Stranger or something like that? I can't remember what it's called, but there's so many that I wanted a full anime series from in season 1, but in season 2, it was only this one episode. This was the only episode that I would like to see get expanded on. And, you know, that really tells you something. Obviously, season 1 had more of a chance for episodes like that, as it had more variety and more episodes. But, you know, 1 out of 8, that's not great, really. To me, the stories in this one is just where it was let down. The stories felt pretty empty and void of meaning and purpose, apart from Pop Squad. Everything else is just a cool, fun watch. Is it worth a binge? Yeah, definitely. It only clocks in at maybe like over an hour. So definitely you can sit down, it's easily digestible, binge it, have some fun with it. But I really can't see myself going back to this, and I can't see many other people going back to this. Whereas season 1, there was just so many bangers in there and so many weird things in between to fill the gaps that I just found it way more entertaining. The best thing about this season is the animation once again. We get that really cool 2D animated style. We also get the Tim Burton-esque style in there as well, some stop motion-y looking stuff. And then we also get the hyper-realistic, you know, PS5, Xbox Series X, high-end PC graphics sort of looking stuff, like a cutscene you'd see in a AAA game, which just looks awesome. But I do have to say the Drowned Giant was probably, that probably had the worst animation. Some of the 3D in that one was a little bit choppy and a little bit weird. But across the board in this one, they all hit the mark and they all look pretty great. The one with Michael B. Jordan was insane. It just looked like they'd filmed him. And Snow in the Desert also looked insane. For a couple of times, my fiance and I were like, holy shit, did they actually film this? Was this animated? Like, we couldn't genuinely tell. It was crazy. So yeah, there's really, really talented people behind the scenes here, really talented creative out of the box thinkers, and just people with raw animation skill. I just wanted to see more of it, and I just wanted a little bit more variety and stories with a little more meaning, and I just wanted to feel, you know, more satisfied at the end of an episode. Season 1 had a few episodes, a cool little twist here or there. Here, there was really none of that. You could kind of see where it was all going, and it kind of just ended the way you were expecting. It was fun. It looked good. It sounded good. It had cool music, cool little ideas here or there, and cool little details throughout the world. Like, you know, getting strawberries delivered to a different planet, hundreds of light years away from Earth. You know, all this kind of shit that comes with that. Pints being locked in these wee jars that you have to put in a code in to keep them like fresh and stuff like that. Really like that. There's obviously some really creative people behind this, like I said. I just felt season 2 was very underwhelming, and that's probably because I loved season 1 so much. And you know, my bar for this volume 2 was set pretty high, maybe a little too high in the show's defense, but I don't think I'm wrong in saying this was pretty underwhelming. And if you're a fan of season 1 and this series, I think you'll feel very similar to myself. As far as things go on the motion capture front as well, for those certain episodes with that hyper-realistic look, it works very, very well. Like, everything moves very smooth and very seamlessly, and you really do see the emotion in the characters' faces. Even the proper alien-looking ones, you can tell that they have a personality behind all those scales and weirdness. The voice acting for all the characters is very well done as well. Like I said, Pop Squad's the best. That's where it really hits the hardest and the emotion comes through. But across the board here, the voice acting for all of these episodes is very, very good. The dialogue is even good itself, just sadly that, you know, the story around it all just isn't that great. The narrative of these stories just wasn't as fascinating as some of the episodes in season 1. As I said, apart from Pop Squad, even though Snow in the Desert is good as well, but it really was just a very, very simple, straight to the point story. So, you know, it could have been elevated if it done something crazy right at the end, but it just didn't. But yeah, for the most part, it all looks great, all the characters act great, all the voice acting is spot on, so no complaints in that department. In the end, it just wasn't so in your face, crazy and wacky, and it didn't have those what the fuck jaw-dropping moments, and it wasn't quite as not safe for work as the first season as well. I felt like they could have took it a lot further with certain things. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and theories on Volume 2 of Love, Death and Robots. Look, I'm still really excited for Volume 3. I just felt that Volume 2 was very underwhelming. So with all that said and done, I'm going to give Volume 2 a 5 out of 10 rating. That's purely because I loved the action, the animation, the sound design, the music, you know, all that kind of technical stuff. But then on the other side, narratively, it all just kind of fell flat. It just felt empty, and, you know, just there wasn't much emotion in there, and I just didn't get the same excitement, jaw-dropping moments and cool revelations as I did in season 1. So yeah, really looking forward to season 2, and I really hope, you know, it raises that bar again and redeems itself. I just felt season 2 wasn't quite it. But I'm really interested to hear what you all made of it in the comment section down below. So if you have seen Love, Death, Robots Volume 2, let me know what you thought. Does it live up to its name? Does it, you know, is it better than season 1? Some of you might think it's better, that they've cut out a lot of the fluff and went for more contained, a little bit of longer stories here or there. But for me, nah, wasn't for me. I liked season 1 much better. It was okay. It just wasn't great. For me, my favourite episodes are still like Beyond the Keeler Rift, Zima Blue, what an episode that was, Sonny's Edge, stuff like that. I just loved those episodes. Even the farmer one on the other planet was amazing. There's so many standouts from that season. Here, it was Pop Squad. That was it. Like I said, 1 out of 8. Not great, and it really pissed me off that we got 2 of basically the exact same story. I expected more from this show. Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, please do leave a like, and if you're new here, why not subscribe to join the club? As always, thank you very much for watching, and good night.